What's going on, everybody? Today I will be reviewing the movie The Iron Claw. That claw, man. It's something about that claw that's powerful. Yeah, man. It's December 31st, man. We're gonna head into a new year soon. So yeah, I just want to get this movie review out real quick. And like I said, I don't know the Von Erich brothers like that because I was born in 1989. So my era is like the mid 90s in the early 2000s. See, I grew up on Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Kurt Angle, and The Undertaker. Those were my favorite wrestlers back then. So I'm not too familiar with the older wrestlers, that was out in the early 80s like that. But watching this movie, it gives me insight of, their story and everything, which I like. And yeah, and this is a sport slash thriller movie, and it's 2 hours and 12 minutes, which is it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. And the director of this film is Sean Durkin. And I like how he showcases the emotions of the characters and is giving you a great story about them. And I'm gonna say this: when you watch this movie, it's gonna take you on an emotional roller coaster. Yes, there's a lot of things that happens in this movie, a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. So you'll see. And the next cast member is Zac Efron. Yes, he played Kevin Von Erich in this film. And I'm gonna say Zac Efron had the best performance in this movie. The best performance. This is his best performance out of all the movies he played in and all the TV shows or whatever. He really took his time with this role, you can tell. He put in a lot of work. He put in a lot of time at the gym with his physical appearance. And I like the role that he played in this film. He was more of the level-headed brother. He was the most mature one out of everybody else. He was soft-spoken, but he still played that father role. Even though he wasn't a father, but he kind of played a father role, watching over his brothers and making sure they was okay. He was very compassionate about his wrestling sport, and it was a very impressive performance. Good job to Zac Efron for this one. The next cast member is Jeremy Allen White. He played Kerry Von Erich in this film. He was a little cocky in this film, and I felt bad for him too because there's a lot of things going on with him. And I know he was going down into the Olympics, but I guess it was something, a war going on, so they sent him back. But he did an amazing job in this film. He did an amazing job. Good job to Jeremy Allen White. Then you had Harris Dickerson. He played David Von Erich. Then you had Stanley Simmons. He played Mike Von Erich. And yes, I just love the family dynamic of these brothers, how the camaraderie, how they're getting along. And I love the chemistry they have with each other. I love that. And I love the bond. When you watch this movie, you just see that bond with these brothers. Even if it's good things going on or bad things going on with them, they still stick together, which I like that. And you have Lily James. She played the wife of Kevin Von Erich. She had a phenomenal performance in this film. Phenomenal performance. I like how she stuck by Kevin's side throughout everything that was going on. She was so charming in this film. Man, I mean, she deserves an Oscar for her performance. And she was very reasonable with him. I like that. And she was a rider. She was sticking by his side. It's like ride till we die. So I like to see that. I mean, as the movie goes on, it gets darker and darker. I don't know if y'all heard about that Von Erich curse. Yes, it was going on crazy in this film. I mean, these brothers couldn't get a break. I mean, every time they'll reach a level or things get positive, things will it'd be roadblocks right in the way. And it starts to get negative. So, but I gotta say, Zac Efron, when he played the part, he played it pretty decent. Where he was a strong-minded person. He's like, I'm determined to get through this. And it was so many tragic events going on. It kind of overshadows the wrestling in this film. It was so many tragic events going on. You couldn't really focus on the wrestling part. But it tells a deep story. There's so many things I like about this film. I like the set design. I like how they showed the 70s and 80s. I like that look, the nostalgic look. The cinematography was great. The sound design. I love the soundtrack. It had a lot of decent, great 80s songs in here. I like the wrestling stunt coordinations. That was very spectacular. I like the wrestling moves. They were down pat. I like seeing that. And the scenes were so captivating. It keeps you in tune with the film. Now, I did have some dislikes in this film, which they had another brother in here they didn't show. I think it was a younger brother. And I was like, why they didn't talk about that story? Because that kind of threw me off at the ending of it when, another brother, was in the picture. I'm like, why they didn't really talk about his story? I get it because the movie was long enough. And if they would have added that in there, it would have been super long. So I kind of get it, but I kind of wanted to know a little bit about the story. It could have been at least 5 to 10 minutes extra or to give us a story about the other brother. That's all. What really pissed me off in this movie was the father. I don't know who played that part though, but the father pissed me off so much in this movie. He was just so selfish. He was. He was living his dream through his sons. And I understand you want to see his sons do well, but I guess he want to live his dream through them. And he was pushing his kids way too hard. Way too hard. And it was crazy because he had no emotion. It's like when tragic situations were going on, he didn't even really care about what was going on with his sons or what was happening. It's like he was so heartless to me. And his mind was just concerned about wrestling only. So that was about basically it. He was just so hard on him. But yeah, I didn't really like him too much in this film. And the mother in this film, her emotions was non-existing in this film. She was like the father to me. It's like she wasn't involved with her sons at all. She let the father just take over the whole role with that. She showed no emotion. She just had a blank face throughout the movie. Didn't know what was going on. And she like, I don't want to tell the movie, but well, people should know the story anyway. Yeah, most of the sons passed away, and she was just acting like it was another day. She's like another day in the world. But I understand people have to move on from situations, but still, it's like these incidents just happen, and she's just acting like okay, like it's another day, which I didn't get. So yeah, that was kind of weird to me. Now, another thing in the movie, it did have a little bit of some slow pacing in the film. It was some, spots in the film where it was like a filler to me. It could have been, cut out. But yeah, it was a little bit unbalanced, but hey, this was a great film. Oh, I like Ric Flair. The person that played Ric Flair, he did a great job. Just like Ric Flair. And I'm gonna say this though, this film deserves an Oscar. It should be Oscar nominated. I don't know if it's gonna get an Oscar. I don't know if it's gonna be nominated because this movie came out too late. Now, if this movie would have came out like 2 months before, or before December, then it probably would have been nominated. But man, this deserves an Oscar nomination. Zac Efron deserves a Oscar nomination. A lot of actors in here and actress, did a good job. Did a good job. So I'm gonna rate this film. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. A solid 8 out of 10. Great job. Great movie for the holidays and stuff too. Around the holidays, give me something to watch. So yeah, my next movie review that I'm gonna come out with is Color Purple. So get ready for that. Stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all in a little bit. All right. Peace.